On Wednesdays at 7, sharp as can be, blue gals calling, come knit with me.
Hey everybody, happy end of July. This is the last knitting podcast of July 2025. I knit 3 pairs of socks from June 27th to July 27th, and 2 of those pair that I showed you last week are out the door, mailed. Drift Glass mailed those out this morning. I did finish the sock week and sock sprint, sock week from Nitty Natty and sock sprint from Woolly Thistle. I participated in both of those knit-alongs, and I also posted these at the Grocery Girls Sock Bash as my second pair of socks that met any kind of criteria for Grocery Girls. These are not shorties, but they're done. And I texted a picture of these to youngest child, who immediately texted back to school socks. So those will be heading off to college. And the other 2, the youngest child's been gone this summer, working in a summer camp on the other side of the country. And so all of the summer socks are here. This is the May pair, the Frog in a Blender socks. And then these are the June Rainbow Pride socks. So all of those are here and going in the basket in the living room, where usually it's youngest child that goes through and says, I'll take these, and I'll take these, and I'll give these to my roommate, and these 2 are mine, and whatever. I just say, go for it. Take them, wear them in good health. But that's where those wind up going. Now, having knit 3 pair of socks in a month, I'm ready for a break with sock knitting. However, as I said last week, I have a friend, maybe I said this last week, I have a friend who I always knit a pair of socks for their birthday in October. It's a tradition. This girlfriend of mine was maid of honor at my first wedding and has been a lifelong adult friend, like my adult life. And so every year I knit a pair of socks for this person. And so I am going to, in August, knit a pair of socks out of this yarn. This is Knitted Wit, Monet's Garden. This is Knitted Wit Victory Sock in Monet, the colorway Monet's Garden. The theme for the Grocery Girls for August is From the Garden. So this meets the need for that and is a beautiful color. I think it's going to come out kind of polka dotty. There's actually a lot of white in this colorway with bright green and purple and blue, what look like spots. It's very short spaces of dye. So I think that's how that's going to turn out, like little flowers. And I'm excited to knit these. But I'm not going to start them right away. I'm not going to start them on the 1st of the month. I'm going to start them on the 15th of the month, which brings me to an issue that I've had this week with being between socks. And I noticed that always having a pair of socks going and having a deadline of knitting them in a month and so forth, one of the appeals of that for me is it erases decision paralysis. I have so much yarn and so many patterns and so many ideas and so many things I want to do, and what do I do next? And I think a lot of us knitters face that, of just too many beautiful things to try to knit. And I've had that this week. I've been going through patterns, going through yarns, figuring out stuff. I know I want to knit some hats. And it's been I've just been a little bit, the word isn't on edge, but just a little disorganized in terms of what am I going to do next? And so I finally settled on 2 projects. One that I've been wanting to knit for a long time, and this year, and and another one that I just kind of took on. The first one is the Eat the Rich hat, which I've talked to you about many times before. This is a free pattern. It's by Lanja Cohn Engheim. It is from this year. And I've had times this year when I thought I would make it and was so upset about politics that I was like, I can't knit words right now. But when middle child came home from college for the summer, middle child told me she really wants this hat. And she picked out colors. This is Knit Picks palette. It is in Clover, which is the darker green, and Edamame, which is the lighter green. And I just finished today the corrugated ribbing. And the idea is that Eat the Rich hat will look like money, which I really like that idea. This Knit Picks palette works up great. It's very clear colors. I was a little concerned when I saw them on the ball that they would not be contrasty enough, but they are. Now, the one issue I will warn you, this is a free pattern. I think it's a terrific pattern. Many people have knit it and to great beauty. As I have started doing the chart, I will say charts. This is the body of this hat is a 3-chart project. So you've got the Eat the Rich, you've got the left chart, and you've got the right chart wrapping around the hat. And so you have to switch back and forth from one chart to the other to go around the hat. And so that, for a free pattern, the charts are perfect. I have no complaints. This is not a complaint. I want to be clear. But what I need to do in order to keep my sanity with this, I'm going to draw some guidelines on these grids, especially these wide ones of every 10 stitches, and put markers every 10 stitches so I can keep track. I'm having a really hard time with these first 2 rows. I had a really hard time keeping track of, because that chart, while it is geometric, is different every single row. And keeping track of it, I mean, I'm using Post-it notes and I'm going to check them off and everything. It's just a lot. I'm on the second row and I've already see where I've had to correct some mistakes. So I need to slow down. I need to put in some markers, and then I think it'll work. I think it'll work out fine. But I need markers and I need guidelines for these charts. So it is only the body is only, let's get some better light here, like a 33 stitch, looks like. Yeah, 33 rows, excuse me. And I've done 2 rows already. 33 rows is not that bad. I finished, the more detailed Shetland Wool Week hat in 18 days. So I think I can just get this, worked out this month. And then the other project is a lot less complicated. But it took me a lot of energy to come to a conclusion about which pattern I was going to use for this yarn. This is Barocco Remix Light. It is in the colorway, I think it's Eggplant. Let me double check that. It's 6973. I think this is Eggplant. Merino, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I looked at the color charts. I think this is Eggplant. It's purple with a lot of flex in it. Remix Light is a 100% recycled fibers yarn, which is right up middle child's alley. It's very much her vibe. The fiber content is 30% nylon, 27% cotton, 24% acrylic, 10% silk, and 9% linen. And I need to remember to look at not just look at the word recycled fibers and say, it's soft, great, get it. But really add these together and figure out that this yarn is 34% cotton, and it knits like cotton, even though it's got nylon and acrylic and silk in it, and it's got cotton and linen in it, and it knits like cotton, which means it has no stretch, and it has no give. And I tried to knit in the round, lots of stitches in ribbing to give it a little bit of a pull in, and the ribbing does not have any stretch to it. I did another swatch today. I was doing ribbing on size 4 needles. This yarn ball calls for size 5 needles. I went down to 4s for the ribbing, no stretch, and I thought it was too big a needle. A 4 was too big, and I usually knit to gauge. So it's very, let me show you. I mean, to me, that's almost a fingering weight. I'm sure if I held that up next to a sock yarn, it's not that thick, much more thick than that. But this is my swatch. Let me hold up the knit side. Here we go. That's my swatch. Let that focus. I laid it out flat. I didn't wet block this yet in any way, but I figure that I'm getting even at a blocked thing, and please don't yell at me, oh no, you really have to wet block it to know for sure, because I think I'm going to get 5 to the inch. The sweater I'm going to knit has a lot of give to it. I'm going to knit for middle child. This one, it's called Castaway. Castaway by Elizabeth Smith Knits, which is huge amount of positive ease, lots of room. I'm going to knit it to about 5 inches of positive ease, maybe 6. And then the way this pattern is written, you knit it. There is an option to do a hem at the bottom, which I think I'm going to take advantage of. Because the other option is to let this stockinette, just start stockinette and let it roll. And for this yarn, I just don't like that. I don't like, it's already too casual a yarn for me. I really think I want a little structure. So what I'll do is cast on and knit in stockinette 5 or 7 rows, and then do a purl row on the right side or a knit row on the wrong side to make a ridge. And then you can just fold that and there'll be a hem. You can sew that in or pick it up or whatever. And the other thing is the bottom of this sweater is knit in the round, and then you split it off for the armholes. I am concerned about my gauge in the round being different from my gauge flat with the purling back. So I'm going to knit it flat. And for the other reason is I don't want to cast on 215 stitches. And knit around with nothing else to do for however many inches it is. This is a cropped sweater. I'm also going to knit, if I can, I'm going to knit the front first and then make the back a little longer. Because I think that's a good look. Let's see, the length here, underarm length, 10 inches. Yeah, I'm not going to do 10 inches of in the round stockinette on size 3s. That's never going to get done. So I'll do stockinette going, knitting back and knitting flat with a hem. And then I think we'll go. It's a joy to knit. It really is. It's soft. It's very soft and it's drapey, but there's no give to it. So, and I went through many patterns with ribbing in them and with lots of ribbing, like a whole waist of ribbing. There's a new pattern out with that in it. I thought might work for this yarn, and it just won't. There's no stretch. So, that's that. I'm going to cast that on and work on it for a while. It might wind up in a bag for a while, but that's all right too. I'm hoping by Christmas I'll have this done for her. And then I thought I was pretty sure I was going to take September and October off from sock month and just knit other things. And I wanted to show you this week. Very Busy Monkey, who's a wonderful, very ornate sock pattern writer, published this as a sock leg on Blue Sky. Very Busy Monkey. It's beautiful, isn't it? September is cable month for socks. Yeah, part of me hopes Very Busy Monkey doesn't have this pattern ready in September. Oh, you're going to have to wait till next year. Uh-oh. I'm probably going to have to make those socks, and I'm not ready to do that. I was hoping to have a break, but beautiful. All right. The other thing about decision paralysis, a couple ways that I've gotten around that, and I've seen other people on Reddit get around it as well. As I've said before, is to gamify it, put 3 or 4 or 10 or 12 or whatever projects in write down on a slip of paper and put them in a jar and shake it and pick one to knit. Put them on a list and roll some dice and 1 through 6. Oh, this one came up. I'll knit this. Like I said, this sock a month thing with a guideline of it's going to be fall colors, or it's going to be in the garden, or it's going to be cables, or it's going to be rainbow. June was rainbow. Helps a lot. Like, oh, I don't have that many decisions to make. So maybe I need to take a little time and be uncomfortable for a minute about what's next for my knitting, and just kind of, okay, in order to get other things done besides socks, I'm going to sit with a yarn, swatch a yarn, figure out, maybe make some mistakes, cast on. I did cast on like 144 stitches in the round and tried ribbing and so forth, and on bigger needles than I actually needed, and it just wasn't working. So, but this is lovely on 3s, on US 3s. This is working. It's still a little lacy on 3s. There's still some fairly big holes in there, and I know those will block out, but this is not a DK weight yarn in my book. This is light DK fingering ish in my estimation. It's pretty thin. But like I said, it's her color and it's lovely, and it'll make a nice kind of t-shirt sweater for her. I like to end with reading, and I'm going to read just a little tiny bit from the Yarn Harlot, all wound up. One of my favorites. And this is just a little paragraph that made me smile. There is an unfinished sweater in my closet. Actually, that statement is sort of untrue. There are several unfinished sweaters in there, but most of them have a fate that's sealed. They will never be finished sweaters. It has been my experience that every once in a while, a particular yarn and pattern combination has an effect that culminates in the project equivalent of a terminal illness. And despite the best of intentions and through no fault of the knitter, it can't work. The sweater has the wrong gauge. It doesn't look right. The yarn obscured the cables. You realize that you must have been drunk when you bought that shade of green, because even knitting it makes you look like you've contracted a tropical disease with permanent consequences. Something happens and it tips the project over into that abyss where you know it won't ever be finished, but it won't be ripped back either. These projects sit in the closet, marinating with the other yarn and stash, and it doesn't bother me at all. Every now and then, I go into the stash for something else, and I see those projects, and there's no pang of guilt. No feelings of loss or failure. No negative feelings at all. I mean, I wish they were finished sweaters. It would be great if they were finished sweaters, especially if they could be finished sweaters without the problems that consigned them to the closet in the first place. But it all just sort of feels like having those sweaters is impossible. It's like seeing a woman in her 40s who has perky breasts is a steady size 0, and struggles not to be too thin. It's just not something that's ever going to be in my life, and I don't even expect it. The unfinished sweaters and I are pretty reconciled to each other. That is from the chapter The Point System. All Wound Up, The Yarn Harlot Writes for a Spin by Stephanie Pearl McPhee. Love her. All right. Like I said, very lovely yarn. And I'm looking forward to knitting that. And I'm looking forward to casting on this on size 3 needles. And also working on the Eat the Rich Hat. Eat the Rich Hat, again, the first thing I got to do is draw some lines on those charts and make it easier on my eyes and my brain to knit them. I hope you guys have a really good week. I'll have more to share with you next week. And I thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.
On Wednesdays at 7, sharp as can be, blue gals calling, come knit with me.